The gentleman's time has expired. At this time, the chair recognizes the resident commissioner from the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, Mr. Hernandez, for 5 minutes. Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This hearing feels like a celebration of Promesa, and I would like my colleagues not to lose sight of the fact that Promesa is a tragedy. It is a tragedy for Puerto Rico, it is a tragedy for the United States, and for the values that this nation is supposed to stand for. For a quarter of my life, my vote and Puerto Rico's self-government has been shackled by Promesa, has been shackled by La Junta. We have an oversight board, a body of unelected officials, overriding decisions of Puerto Rico's elected leaders. I think most Puerto Ricans have two concerns when it comes to La Junta. Number one, that its decisions regarding Puerto Rico's bankruptcy don't increase the cost of living. And as it relates to the PREPA's litigation, I think my colleagues have done a great job of summarizing those concerns. The second concern is the board's longevity. So this longevity is a failure of public policy with many culprits. Congress is responsible for not exercising sufficient oversight. Puerto Rican politicians across all parties, including my own, are responsible for chronic fiscal irresponsibility. And the board, well, the board has imposed austerity, raised the cost of living, dragged out PREPA's bankruptcy, and it has enriched consultants who have no incentive for the board to cease its functions. Mr. Mujica, Congress promised the board would cost under $400 million in 10 years. Can you tell me how much the board has actually spent during this period?
The restructuring overall has cost over, and I think just the CBO estimate actually said that it would be done in the first 2 years, and then it would end after 4 consecutive years. So the reality is that it has taken much longer, and it's taken much longer partially because the government resisted the reforms. You had Hurricane Maria, you had the hurricanes, you had Hurricane Maria, you had earthquakes, you had COVID, all of these things intervening, and the government actively
Mr.
resisted.
Mujica, I'm sorry to interrupt because we have limited time.
Yeah.
What's the amount?
The total amount is about $1.4 billion is the cost of the restructuring.
But we've heard
overall.
about consultants costing over $2 billion.
The restructuring has cost about that's not all consultant costs. That it would also include the numbers, the cost of the actual board itself, the board staff. But let's be clear.
Okay, so it's more than 5 times what Congress estimated this would cost. You understand that this is creating a lot of distrust in Puerto Rico because it appears that, especially when it comes to the excessive spending on consultants, the board is imposing austerity on the people of Puerto Rico, but then when it comes to its own expenses, it's not setting an example.
Yeah, let's be clear. The board has saved the people of Puerto Rico over $60 billion. $60 billion that the elected officials of Puerto Rico incurred. 16 consecutive years of unbalanced budget, 16 consecutive years of borrowing money, and that resulted in the reductions and the things that had to be done. Those things were done because of Promesa, because of the actions of the board.
You are imposing austerity on many agencies, on many people, and not exercising it yourself. Section 209 sets clear conditions for the board's departure. We've spoken a lot about that today. Puerto Rico hasn't had one balanced budget since the board arrived in 2016. I understand we just approved one, but we have to wait and see if it actually stays within budget by the end of the year. Who decides if the budgets meet the required accounting standards? Is it the board?
We will look at the audited financial statements. The last audited financial statements that we have are from 2022.
And who provides those
Hacienda,
statements?
the government.
The government.
The government pays for it. The government does it through KPMG. And that last report says that the 22 budget was not balanced under modified accrual.
Okay, so 9 years, 0 balanced budgets. That is a big failure. Who is responsible for this? Is it the board's fault or is it the government's fault?
It's the government's. It's the government's fault. The tools and the mechanisms for the board to leave are within the hands of the government.
I think you are both to blame, but I agree. The government hasn't delivered responsible budgets, and the board, well, I feel that the board hasn't provided the leadership that we need. It's been almost a decade. Can you provide a roadmap for the board's departure? The people are asking, ¿cuándo se va la Junta?
Yeah. And I think this budget is a really good start, and the governor has showed a commitment to do that. And we are working very hard with it. We are working with the Office of Management, the Office of Budget within Puerto Rico to build the capacity to do the knowledge transfer.
Can you
so that
provide
they have
an estimate of time? How
well,
many
we would
more
have four
years are left?
the next 4 years could lead to 4 consecutive balanced budgets, and within that time, we should be able to do those reforms. But we need to hold the government accountable to making sure that those reforms actually happen. And then I can report back in 4 years that we've met those terms.
And I agree with you. We
gentleman-
need to keep the government
gentleman's time has
accountable.
expired.
And I wish the government were present in this hearing so that not just this government, the previous governments, all from the same party, have failed the people of Puerto
Gentleman's
Rico
time has expired.
in ending the Oversight Board's tenure in the island. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.